The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Associate yourself with those who elevate you, with individuals whose presence brings out the best in you." You've probably heard the saying that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. While that may not be 100% accurate, it makes you think about how important it is to surround yourself with people who make you happy and bring out the best in you. The company we keep shapes who we are. Although it is not an exact formula, the idea that we are a reflection of the people we interact with the most invites us to reflect on the power of relationships. Surrounding ourselves with individuals who inspire us, support us, and share our values can be a catalyst for our personal growth and happiness. It is essential that you carefully choose the people you associate with. It is not about surrounding yourself only with individuals who are identical to you, since diversity enriches our lives. However, it is essential to surround yourself with people who bring you positive things and with whom you feel comfortable and valued. Pay attention to how you feel after interacting with different people. Do you feel energized and inspired, or drained and exhausted? If you constantly find yourself feeling negative or frustrated after spending time with someone, that relationship may not be healthy for you. Trust your instincts, and don't be afraid to distance yourself from those who make you feel bad. You definitely need to avoid those who suck the life out of you and waste your time. Dive into the world of Stoicism as we unravel a powerful idea. What kind of people hinder our growth? In this video, we will apply the philosophical principles of the Stoics to identify those individuals who could hinder our personal progress. We will explore in detail 17 different profiles that often stand as barriers on our path to wisdom and serenity. Let's begin this transformative journey together, guided by timeless Stoic philosophy. Let's get to know these toxic people in depth and why it's crucial to reconsider your friendships with them. Are you ready? Number 1. The one who complains about everything. We all know that person who always finds the cloud in the bluest sky. Whether at the office, at a family gathering, or just having a conversation, their outlook is invariably negative. They criticize the weather, complain about their work, find fault in the most unexpected places, and rarely have a kind word to say. Their pessimism seems to be a kind of shield that protects them from the world, although it often ends up isolating them from others. You probably know those people who always find a reason to complain. They are experts at identifying problems, but seem incapable of proposing constructive solutions. They prefer to point the finger at others, blaming them for all their ills, rather than assuming their share of responsibility and looking for alternatives. It's as if their only goal is to spread negativity and avoid any kind of commitment. Being around these types of people can be draining and toxic. Not only do they lower the energy of a room, but they can also drag you down with them. Now you might be wondering, why should I care about this? I can just ignore them. Well, it's easier said than done. Constant exposure to so much negativity has a draining effect on your mental well-being. It's similar to a slowly dripping tap. It drains your emotional energy reserve. Stoicism teaches us to focus on actionable solutions rather than obsessing over problems. For example, imagine you're collaborating on a project with someone who's a perpetual complainer. Every meeting turns into an exhausting complaining session without any constructive dialogue. The impact on team morale diminishes, and you drift away from finding actionable solutions, likely finding yourself increasingly disenchanted with the project and possibly life in general. So how does Stoicism help us deal with a complainer? There are several strategies you can employ. First, limit your exposure to this person whenever you can. If that's not possible, perhaps because they are a family member or colleague, then your second option is to mentally distance yourself. During your tirade, think of your complaints as a passing storm, loud and disturbing, but ultimately temporary and powerless against the unchanging mountain that is your own inner tranquility. Your third option is to steer the conversation towards solutions or change the subject to something more constructive. Quoting Marcus Aurelius, "You have power over your mind, not over external events. Understand this, and you will find strength." This timeless Stoic wisdom encourages us to diligently protect our peace of mind, ensuring that the negativity of chronic complainers does not derail us from our path of resilience and virtue. Number 2. The drama magnet. Imagine you are sailing through your life like a ship, navigating calm waters. But then you encounter the whirlpool known as the drama magnet. This person seems to have an endless series of crises, conflicts or controversies, and like a whirlpool, they have a disturbing ability to draw you into their vortex of chaos. Initially, you might feel drawn to the drama magnet's energy, mistaking it for compassion or emotion. However, you will soon realize that being in its sphere is like sailing a ship in the middle of a storm. It's exhausting and dangerous. What makes dealing with drama magnets so difficult is that their crises can often feel like your own. Their chaos is contagious, and you may find yourself embroiled in conflicts you had no part in. Stoicism reminds us to value our time highly, and sometimes that means not being available for other people's crises, especially if they are recurring and unresolvable. Turn off your phone during certain hours. Create focus periods where you concentrate solely on your work or personal development, and make it known that during these times, you do not want to be disturbed. Paraphrasing Seneca, true happiness is enjoying the present without anxious dependence on the future. This can be particularly helpful when dealing with drama magnets. Instead of anxiously wondering what crisis will come next, focus on the present moment where you have control. Enjoy your life and don't let it be interrupted by someone else's trauma. Navigate your ship calmly, avoiding the whirlpools that threaten your journey toward personal growth and tranquility. Number 3. The negative. Imagine you are an artist painting a canvas, each brushstroke adding color, depth, and life to your vision. Then your negative friend comes in, takes one look at your work, and immediately starts criticizing it. "Are you sure about that color? That doesn't look realistic." His words, like brushstrokes of gray paint, begin to dull your vibrant canvas. This is not constructive criticism, but a persistent aura of doubt and negativity. For example, let's say you're excited to pursue a new career path. You've done your research, talked to experts in the field, and even taken some preliminary courses. When you share your enthusiasm with the naysayer, he or she quickly lists all the reasons why it won't work. The market is too competitive, you don't have the right skills. What if you fail? Over time, you begin to feel their doubts as your own, and the confident vision of yourself that you had begins to falter. So how do you deal with a naysayer? Especially when it could be someone close to you, an unconventional but effective method is to ask them for advice instead of sharing your plans or aspirations. When people are placed in an advisory role, they are less likely to attack your ideas directly and can offer more constructive feedback. Another method involves changing the script through a technique called positive confrontation. Instead of absorbing their negativity, challenge them to think of solutions. If they say you'll never be able to change careers at this stage, counter with an interesting perspective. How do you think someone could make a successful career change? Not only does this deflect negativity, but it also encourages a more constructive form of conversation. Remember the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Listening doesn't mean absorbing everyone's negativity, but rather discerning between valuable input and mere noise. When the spoilsports start clouding your canvas with their shadows of doubt, take a step back. Number 4. The busybodies. Busyboppers are those experts in everything who remind us of those friends who always have the last word, even if they don't know what they're talking about. They are like a GPS that shows you the wrong way, but with the advantage that you don't need to pay a subscription. Busybodies are like a thorn in the soul, a constant irritation that disturbs our peace. They are individuals who, like persistent flies, buzz around us, invading our spaces and thoughts. Their need to have a say in every aspect of our lives is overwhelming, making them an unwanted presence that clouds our relationships and undermines our trust. These are the people who always seem to have an opinion about everything, even when you don't want or need it. They pry into your personal affairs, give you unsolicited advice, and generally make you feel like you're being watched with a magnifying glass. Dealing with a busybody is not easy, but there are some strategies that can work. Sometimes a little humor can divert the attention of the nosy person and diffuse the situation. A witty comment or a well-placed joke can throw her off balance and make her change the subject. However, make sure your humor is gentle and not hurtful. Another strategy is that if someone insists on a topic that makes you uncomfortable, repeat your response calmly and firmly without deviating. For example, if someone asks you about your love life and you don't want to answer, you can repeatedly say, "I'd rather not talk about my personal life." This technique can be very effective in cutting off the conversation. If you feel overwhelmed by someone's questions or comments, you can delegate the response to someone else. For example, if a family member asks you about your future plans, you can say, "That's a good question. What do you think?" and delegate the answer to someone who is present at the moment. If the conversation becomes too awkward, you can find an excuse to leave. For example, you can say that you need to go to the bathroom, take a call, or that you have something else to do. Believe me, it is better to stay away from such people. They will only bring unnecessary drama into your life, but if that is not possible, try the strategies. Number 5. The opportunists. Opportunists are always looking out for their own benefit and do not mind taking advantage of others. They are like vultures circling the landscape in search of their own advantage. Their friendship is conditional and ephemeral. It will only last as long as you can offer them something in return. When the situation is reversed and you are the one who needs help, you will discover that they have disappeared without a trace. They are experts at identifying those who can be of use and building bonds based on convenience. Once they have extracted all they can from you, they will discard you without any remorse. They are capable of anything to achieve their goals. They will not hesitate to resort to lying, manipulation, or any other tactic, regardless of the harm they may cause to others. Their ambition leads them to trample on any moral or ethical principle in pursuit of their own benefit. You don't want to get involved with these people. They will only cause you stress and anxiety. Dealing with them can be challenging, but there are strategies you can employ to protect yourself and set boundaries. Opportunists tend to display certain recurring behaviors, such as excessive flattery, lack of empathy, constant search for personal benefits, and the tendency to change their mind quickly. Understanding why someone acts opportunistically can help you anticipate their moves. They are often seeking recognition, power, or simply material benefits. Number 6. The know-it-alls. You know, the ones who, according to themselves, are always smarter than everyone else. These are individuals who feel an irresistible need to prove their intellectual superiority in any situation. They often interrupt others in the middle of a conversation to correct them, often in a condescending tone. This behavior, far from encouraging dialogue, creates a tense and hostile environment where others feel intimidated and devalued. Those who call themselves experts often display their knowledge in an ostentatious manner. Their main objective is not the exchange of ideas, but rather to impose their point of view and make it clear that they are the ones who know the most. This attitude, besides being unpleasant, can be counterproductive, as it scares away those who wish to participate in an authentic conversation. These people can be very annoying and downright frustrating. Not only do they make you feel like you're not good enough, but they can also be an obstacle to progress. You may wonder how to deal with a know-it-all. Take it in stride, rather than directly contradicting them. Rephrase their statements to show that you have heard and understood their point of view, but are proposing a different perspective. For example, if someone says, "I've always believed that the best way to learn is by memorizing," you might respond, "It's interesting that you mention memorization as a learning tool. However, there are also studies that suggest that deep understanding and practical application are equally important." Use humor as a shield. A well-placed joke can disarm a know-it-all and redirect the conversation to more neutral ground. However, it is crucial to ensure that the humor is not hurtful or condescending. Dealing with know-it-alls requires patience, empathy, and effective communication skills. By understanding their motivations, using assertive communication techniques, and taking care of yourself, you'll be able to handle these situations in healthier, more constructive ways. Number 7. Those who keep score. The keepers of memories are those individuals who seem to possess a prodigious memory, especially for mistakes and offenses. Your mind is like a meticulously organized file, where every detail, no matter how insignificant, finds its place. This obsession with the past makes them relentless critics, unable to forgive and forget. Their insistence on reliving the past can be exhausting and hinder personal growth and interpersonal relationships. These types of people can be a real pain, always bringing up old stuff and making it difficult to move forward. It's like they're stuck in the past and can't let go. Plus, it's not exactly a fun game. Nobody wants to be constantly reminded of their flaws and shortcomings. To deal with these note-takers, you must calmly and assertively express to them that you do not wish to continue talking about the topic they are bringing up. Use statements in the I person. I feel uncomfortable when we talk about this. When you are talking, change the subject. Propose a new conversation or activity. If this person insists on constantly reminding you of your mistakes and does not respect your boundaries, it may be necessary to distance yourself. Number 8. Compulsive liars. They are masters of deception, consummate liars who make falsehood their art. Like novelists without an editor, they construct alternative realities, weaving false stories with astonishing skill. They are like broken records, repeating the same lies over and over again. Like an author endlessly rewriting his novel, they seem incapable of offering an honest version of the facts. They play a role, a character that they themselves have created. They are actors in their own lives, representing a fictional version of reality, as if they were in a play without an audience. Behind their words lies a profound lack of authenticity. They are like chameleons, changing color depending on the situation, but never revealing their true selves. Dealing with these types of people can be a real pain. You're constantly wondering what's real and what's not. It's like you're in the middle of a mystery novel. Interacting with individuals who distort the truth is an exhausting experience. The constant uncertainty about the veracity of their words plunges you into a labyrinth of doubt, where distinguishing between reality and fiction becomes an overwhelming task. It's like living in a detective novel, always trying to decipher the enigma of what is authentic. It's best to stay away from people who keep telling stories, unless you want to constantly fact-check everything they say. Number 9. The vengeful. You've probably encountered this type too. They're quick to lash out over the smallest things, hold grudges like it's their job, and generally seem to enjoy stoking the fire. It is common to encounter people who seem to have a very short fuse. They tend to react disproportionately to minor situations, holding grudges for long periods. They seem to find pleasure in keeping the flames of discord alive, fueling conflict and constantly looking for opportunities to strike back. They are individuals who generally prioritize revenge and personal satisfaction over the peaceful resolution of conflicts, thus creating a toxic and tense environment around them. Being around someone who is always looking for a fight is just exhausting. You find yourself constantly on edge, wondering when the next blow-up will happen. Not to mention, these people have a knack for bringing you down to their level of negativity and drama. It's like quicksand. Once you're in, it's hard to get out. Keep your distance from vengeful types. Your sanity will thank you. Protect your emotional well-being from these predators. Set clear boundaries. Communicate assertively and clearly what your limits are and what you are not willing to tolerate. If possible, keep contact with this person to a minimum. This can help you avoid tense situations and conflicts. Number 10. Control freaks. These are the type that just can't seem to let go of the reins, no matter the situation. They have to be in charge all the time. Now here's the problem with that. It can be incredibly frustrating to deal with someone who is constantly micromanaging everything. It probably makes you feel like he or she doesn't trust you, or that you're not capable of handling things on your own. Control freaks also tend to have difficulty adapting to change or unexpected situations, which can be a real problem in today's fast-paced world. And let's not forget how exhausting it can be to constantly disagree with someone who is always trying to control everything. It's exhausting and can wear you down over time. Number 11. The impulsive ones. These are the people who act first and think later. They are the ones who rush into a situation without considering the consequences and then wonder why it all went wrong. Additionally, impulsive people can be difficult to reason with. They may be so wrapped up in the moment that they don't want to hear any alternative viewpoints or suggestions. This can make it difficult to have a productive conversation or work as a team. Number 12. The victim. Imagine life as a game of chess where each player has the same pieces and the same goal: checkmate the opponent's king. You think strategically, make sacrifices and take risks, but the one who always plays the victim blames the board, the pieces, or even his opponent for every bad move he makes. In his view, he is perpetually checkmated, not by his own choice, but because of some external force acting against him. Their narrative is an endless tale of misfortune with themselves in the role of helpless protagonist. We have all had to deal with individuals who constantly play the victim. They are those who see the world through dark glasses, finding obstacles at every corner. Instead of proactively addressing challenges, they prefer to adopt a victim stance and blame others for their circumstances. This attitude is not only counterproductive for themselves, but also creates a toxic environment for those around them. While it is crucial to recognize that some people face genuine difficulties and systemic problems, the victim uses their situation as a constant excuse, refusing to take any responsibility for their actions or lack thereof. You may find yourself entangled in his story, perhaps as the supporting character who constantly needs rescuing. Imagine you've spent countless hours listening to a friend blame their endless failed relationships entirely on their exes. Not only does this consume your time, it can also subtly encourage you to adopt victim thinking in your own life. So how should you treat the victim, especially when it could be someone close to you? Use an unconventional but effective method. Ask them open-ended questions that encourage them to reflect on their situation. Instead of offering solutions or becoming their perpetual problem solver, try questions like, "What do you think you could do differently in this situation?" Or, "How do you see yourself taking control of this aspect of your life?" Another approach is to show empathy and kindness, but don't try to rescue them from situations they need to navigate on their own. Offer a listening ear, but refrain from becoming their perpetual problem solver. Remember the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus: "The best revenge is not to be like the one who committed the injustice." If you find yourself getting sucked into the victim narrative, resist the temptation to become another. Take control of your own game board. Make your moves and remember that in the chess game of life, being perpetually in checkmate is often a choice, not a destiny. Keep your pieces moving forward, make strategic sacrifices when necessary, and play not for revenge or pity, but for growth and wisdom. Number 13. The toxic positivist. Imagine your life as a garden. There are flowers, but there are also weeds and pests. However, a toxic positivist insists on ignoring everything that is not a blooming rose. You have aphids on your leaves, but the toxic positivist would recommend that you only focus on the flowers. Don't let negativity into your garden, they would tell you. Although it sounds encouraging, their approach can make you feel invalidated and disconnected from reality. Let's say you're going through a difficult breakup. You're sad, confused, and looking for emotional balance. The toxic positivist's advice would be, "There are plenty of fish in the sea, just smile and be happy." This type of excessive positivity neglects the complexities of human emotion and the realities of life's challenges. How do you cultivate your garden without letting the toxic positivist trample it with his indiscriminate dispersion of good vibes? The strategy is to engage them in a discussion that encompasses both light and shadow. If he or she says, for example, "Look on the bright side, at least you are healthy," you might respond, "Yes, I'm grateful for my health, but it is also okay to feel upset about this problem." You can also employ what psychologists call emotional granularity, the ability to sense and differentiate between a wide range of emotions, both positive and negative. When the toxic positivist urges you to just be happy, take a moment to acknowledge and label your feelings. Referring to Stoic thought, Seneca once said, "True happiness is understanding our duties towards God and man and enjoying the present without anxious dependence on the future." This Stoic approach is not about focusing solely on the positive or the negative, but about embracing the complexity of life with equanimity. So the next time the toxic positivist gives his opinion of your carefully cultivated garden, take a step back. Remember that a garden needs both sunshine and rain to flourish and embrace your full emotional spectrum, and continue to nurture your garden with the richness and complexity it deserves. Number 14. The manipulator. Imagine your life as a movie script. You are the main actor, and you have an idea of how your story should unfold, where the twists are, who your allies and mentors are, and what your final act looks like. Then comes the manipulator, the shady producer who subtly rewrites your script without you even realizing it, until one day you discover that your story has gone off course. The manipulator is skilled in the art of emotional or psychological manipulation. They may use flattery, guilt, or even deception to steer you in a direction that benefits them. You may have a friend who always gets you to pay for dinner by saying something like, "You know, I've had a rough month and you're so successful that it wouldn't mean much to you, but it would make my day better." Over time, you discover that your generosity has been taken advantage of, but confronting them feels uncomfortable because they've framed it as a favor to a friend in need. Handling a manipulator can be a tricky business. One method of countering their tactics is what some experts call fogging. This technique involves agreeing with any truth in the manipulator's statements, but refusing to be moved by emotional coercion. If they say, "You're so successful you should pay for dinner," you might respond with, "You're right that I've done well, but we're going to split the bill like we always do." Another approach is to set clear boundaries and enforce them. If the manipulator wants you to lend money or undertake tasks you are uncomfortable with, learn to say no assertively. Keep your tone calm and your words clear. "I can't lend you money, but I'm here to offer emotional support." Set a boundary while maintaining friendship. Be inspired by Stoic thought. Epictetus warned us that we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. The manipulator thrives on your predictable reactions, manipulating your kindness, your guilt, or your desire for approval. By choosing differently, you are taking back control of your script again. So if you find a manipulator lurking in your life, remember that you are the one holding the pen. Your story is yours, and while the cast may include a variety of characters, the protagonist's journey, your journey, should always be guided by your own values and decisions. Claim your script, and don't let anyone manipulate the narrative of your life. Number 15. The vampire of time. Imagine your daily routine as a carefully crafted symphony, each instrument representing a task or commitment, and when played together, creating a harmonious balance. But then the vampire of time joins in, throwing the tune out of tune and drowning out the melody, and disturbing the flow of your life's composition. Time vampires are individuals who constantly demand your time and attention, often without providing much value in return. You may have a friend who habitually calls you for long, vague conversations that leave you exhausted and out of schedule, or a colleague who constantly interrupts your work with trivial matters, causing you to miss deadlines. Time vampires not only consume your time, they also disrupt your focus, productivity, and peace of mind. To deal with time vampires, it is essential to set clear boundaries, communicate your availability and limits in a firm but polite manner. Let them know when you are available for calls or meetings. Another strategy is to redirect your demands toward more productive or efficient methods of communication. For example, if a friend tends to engage in long, aimless phone calls, suggest switching to shorter, more focused text messages or emails for quick updates or questions. This way you can regain control over your time and prevent it from being taken over. Stoic philosophy focuses on understanding what is within your control and what is not. Time vampires often try to take control of your schedule and attention. But you can reassert your control by setting boundaries and managing your time intentionally. Remember the words of the Stoic philosopher Seneca. It is not that we have little time, but that we waste much of it. Associating with people who lift you up and align with Stoic principles is crucial to your personal progress and growth. Number 16. The exhausting. Imagine your life as a peaceful walk along a wooded path, where each step brings you closer to your goals and fills you with satisfaction. Now visualize someone who constantly drains you, like a stone in your shoe that makes you stumble again and again. This is the constant drainer, a person whose presence drains your energy and enthusiasm. The constant drainer can manifest itself in different ways. It can be that friend or colleague who always has an urgent problem to solve and endlessly seeks your help. Or it could be that person who constantly demands your attention and validation, leaving you with no time or space for your own needs. Dealing with the constant drainer can be taxing in itself. Their demands and need for attention can leave you feeling overwhelmed and drained of energy. It is crucial to set clear boundaries and protect your own well-being around this person. An effective strategy for handling the constant drainer is to practice the art of saying no. Learn to set clear boundaries and say no when you feel like your own needs are being sacrificed in favor of this person's. This doesn't mean you should be callous or selfish, but you should prioritize your own well-being. Another strategy is to encourage autonomy in the constantly exhausting, encouraging them to solve their problems and needs instead of constantly depending on you. Not only will this take some of the burden off of you, but it will also encourage growth and independence in this person. Remember that your time and energy are precious resources that you should protect and value. Don't feel obligated to sacrifice them for the sake of pleasing the constant drainer. Set firm boundaries, practice self-care, and prioritize your own well-being at all times. Number 17. The competitor. Imagine having a friend or colleague who turns every interaction into a competition. Whether consciously or unconsciously, this person is always looking to outdo you, or prove that they are better than you at everything you do. Competitors can be exhausting and discouraging. Their comparisons and competitive attitudes can make you feel inferior or insufficient, even when you are doing your best. Their focus on competition can create a tense and uncooperative environment in your relationships. When dealing with competitors, it is important to set clear boundaries and maintain open communication. Let him know that you are not interested in constant competition and that you prefer a relationship based on mutual support and collaboration. If necessary, avoid situations where competition is inevitable and seek to spend time with people who value cooperation and teamwork. Also, it is helpful to remember that life is not just about winning or standing out from others. Instead of constantly comparing yourself to the competitor, focus on your own goals and personal growth. Learn to appreciate your own achievements without comparing them to those of others. Remember that healthy relationships are based on empathy, mutual support, and respect, not on constant competition and comparison. By setting boundaries with your competitor and focusing on your own growth and well-being, you can cultivate more positive and satisfying relationships in your life. By recognizing and avoiding these types of individuals, you can protect your peace of mind, focus on what really matters, and navigate your Stoic journey with resilience and virtue. In short, these types of people can seriously disrupt your mind, your heart, and your life. It's as if they have the ability to suck all the positivity out of any situation. We have reached the end of our journey. Remember that life is too short to waste time with this type of people. So do yourself a favor and stay away from these energy vampires. Surround yourself with thoughtful, level-headed people and leave aside those who act on a whim and leave chaos in their wake. If you liked this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I invite you to our next journey, where together we will continue learning and growing hand in hand with Stoic wisdom.